What's up, YouTube? It's Vin here, and before I start this review, I want to say a few things. A, thank you everybody for 70 subs. I'm more than halfway to 100. You guys are awesome. I love, hearing that people enjoy what I have to say about albums. I've wanted to make reviews for a really long time, but I just never felt that there was truly an audience. And now that I know there is, and it's growing, you guys are awesome. So, thank you, each and every one of you who have subscribed, commented, requested. You guys are awesome. But I actually, speaking of requests, that's something I want to talk about real quick. I love getting album requests, but I don't have a job, right? And I used to download music, and I'll admit it, I still do sometimes, and I really hate it because I know that if I were making music, which I hope to do one day, I wouldn't want people downloading my albums either, and I hate when I do it. It's just, I'm trying to find a job, and it's very difficult. It's summer, and all the kids who are going to go to college, on break from college, are just snatching up all the jobs, and nowhere near me is hiring, and I have no money. So, to the people who have requested albums, I'm not going to just ignore it. I'm not going to say whatever. I promise I'll get to it, but it may not be as soon as you want it to be. I apologize for that, but here's a little way of dealing with that. If you're sick of waiting for me to do an album, review of something you requested, tell me a track, your favorite track from that album that you want me to look at, and I'll go on YouTube or I'll go on a site and listen to it and review it and start doing track reviews, so that way I can give you an opinion of something you want to hear me talk about, but just not on, as big of a scale as a full album. I'm really sorry about that. I'm sick of downloading. I want to start buying my albums as soon as I can, and I can't do that with no money. So, if you requested an album and you want to just give me a track, do so. I'd be happy to get to it. I've wasted enough time. Let's talk some more death metal, because I've been listening to a lot of death metal lately, and one of the bands I've been listening to a lot is Autospy. And Autospy, interesting enough, the singer, his name is Chris, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I apologize. The singer and drummer played drums on Death's Scream Bloody Gore, and essentially it was just Chuck Schuldiner and him. And Chuck basically did everything else, one-man death metal band, awesome, Chuck Schuldiner. I'll talk about Death some other time. But, yeah, Chris, I guess it just wasn't working out in Death. So, he formed Autospy, and today I'm going to talk about Severed Survival, released 1989. And this is a very interesting death metal album because it had a big influence on the doom metal genre, or the doom death genre, whatever sub-genre you want to, fucking slap on it. But this album is just like the most filthy death metal album I've ever heard. I'm sorry, my nose is itching. Damn, it is just like the most filthy, disgusting, grimy death metal album, and I think part of that is the production. The production on this album it's the bass. A lot of metal bands don't put that much emphasis on the bass, and Autospy does on this album. The bass is some of the thickest, most just filthy bass I've ever heard, and it gives the music a very heavy, chunky, chugging feel, especially when the band hits a really doomy groove, like on Gasping for Air and Disembowel, I think it's called. And when the band does this, the bass creates such a backdrop for just the thick, sludgy guitar and the slow drum beats. And the best part is the band knows when to put these parts in. It's not like really fast, and then just this doomy part out of nowhere. It gradually builds up with this really doomy riff, and then just explodes, and the blast beats come in, and the vocals are really fast and being just spun out, and it's great. That leads me to Chris's vocals and drumming. It's cool because I'm a drummer, and I think it's really cool that he does both sings and drums. His drumming is great. Like I said, he's always on point with that kind of those doomy riffs that the band is playing. And when the tempo slows down, he just has an emphasis because he uses the crash cymbal and just like a big giant just stomping around. He really knows how to punctuate the riffs with his drumming, and it's just phenomenal. His singing voice is another thing that makes the album just so brutal and disgusting. His voice is guttural, but he has this kind of punked out, out of control scream he exhibits, especially on songs like Charred Remains. During the kind of break between the verse, he just lets out like this and he just it's like this really just comes from the throat. It's like this throat. It's insane. The first time I heard it, it was like just blew me away. And he is another part of what makes the album what it is. The lyrics on this release are your standard death metal gore, but I like it. It's death metal. That's what it's about. It's brutal lyrically. And like I said, the interesting thing to me is the fact that he came from death. If you know Scream Bloody Gore, you know that album has a ton of like 80s style production reverb, which in my opinion helped that album, because all the screams and shrieks made it sound really full when Chuck would sing. But this album is the opposite. The production on this album is just dry. Like, there is literally nothing as far as effects goes. It's just totally dry, and I think that's what makes it just so thick and brutal, is that there's no things to kind of pretty it up. It's just, I mean, don't get me wrong, Scream Bloody Gore ain't pretty either, but, you know, this album just has a really dry, dirty feel to it, which makes it a fantastic death metal album. So, if I had to rate it, 9.5. No songs I don't like. I think they're all fantastic. The flow is great. Every song just kind of coincides with each other. And like I said, I really like the doomy atmosphere that the band plays at. It's just a death metal classic in my opinion. And yeah, I really enjoy it. So, like I said, I'm sorry about the whole album request thing. I feel kind of like an asshole, because I'm like, give me your request, you know, I love to talk about these albums. Then I get like 10 and I'm like, oh shit, you know what I mean? But, like I said, I'm always open for track reviews. That's something I'll always be able to do. So, if you want me to review a track off an album you've requested, do so, and I'll be happy to get to it. So, thank you guys for subbing. You guys are awesome. And, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.